Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KeyPatcher.com, out here today to show you how to swap out your 1632 battery in your Sig RomeoZero should you need to replace it. Before we get started, we want to make sure we have a nice clean workspace so we hopefully won't lose anything, like maybe some snow or sand, and we want to make sure we have the right tools. For this, we're obviously going to need a wrench, being a 2mm Allen wrench. Right here I have my set of fix-it sticks, and then ideally, if you have it, some sort of torque limiter. We'll get to that later. But right now we're going to go ahead and clear this pistol out and get started swapping the battery. I'm going to go ahead and get this cleared out. Make sure we got nothing in there. And at this point, we need to remove these two screws right here. We're going to take that 2mm Allen and break these free. After which we can go ahead and just take them all the way out. On this Optic, the battery is on the bottom, right there. So once we remove this, we're going to go ahead and pull this battery out and swap it with this guy right here. If you put it on, there's this little plastic cover on the bottom of the Optic. We need to go ahead and peel this off, which is going to bring the battery with it. You can take it off like that and peel it back just far enough so that we can actually remove the battery. And then we can put the next battery right back into it. With our new battery replacing the old one, we want to make sure that the positive side is facing out, which is the flat portion. So we're going to go ahead, lift this plastic back up, slide our battery back in there, and go ahead and seal that plastic piece down before we go ahead and reinstall this RomeoZero. When we go to reinstall this, we want to make sure the battery stays in place. We're going to place it back on top of the slide. These two index pieces are going to line up with the corresponding holes. Then we can go ahead and put our screws in. I usually like to just kind of start them by hand initially. Make sure they grab the threads. And there's basically some red kind of thread locker type stuff like nylon. It's good for, I forget how many, but a number of basically on and off before you actually need to replace it. So should be good to go. Once these are started, again, make sure you don't cross thread them. Cross thread's a tight thread, but we're going to go ahead and take our tool, go ahead and start screwing these down until we just kind of just barely start to get it snug. Now that this is just kind of snug down, we probably want to make sure we don't over torque this. So if you have some sort of torque limiter, that's awesome, because ideally these want to go to 9 inch-pounds. This right here is 15 inch-pounds. Different ways to approach it. One, either just tighten it until it breaks and back it off quarter turn, or again, I don't have 9 inch-pounds or 10 inch-pounds. We're going to go to 15. If it breaks, bad on me. Going to go back and forth until I get close to a click, basically where the torque limiter limits it. And honestly, I'm going to stop right there. That's probably getting pretty close to the actual 15 inch-pounds on here, and I do not want to bust one of those screws. It would not be fun to remove it. Once we've reinstalled our RomeoZero, if it did not come on, we can go ahead and manually turn it on, or for that matter, adjust brightness settings. So under this hood right here on the Optic, basically right in front of the window, there's a little button. Not my favorite spot, but it's what we're working with. So to go ahead and turn this on, simply press and hold for 2 seconds, after which you have your dot. And then if you want to actually adjust the brightness settings between those 8 different settings, you simply press it once, press it again, and it starts scrolling through brightness settings. When you get to the very top end, it's going to flash 5 times. And then conversely, it's going to start going back down to the bottom. When it gets to the very bottom setting, also going to flash 5 times. So figure out whatever setting you want it at for conditions you're carrying in and roll on from there. But hopefully this has been helpful. And as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.